mean, it's self-explanatory. There you are. Take a look at it. I mean, what are you talking about?
Explain it to me.
So the guy who he's next to when the ball's in the air is the guy that scores the touchdown.
That's Tyree Stevenson's guy.
No. At that point, Noah Brown, as a veteran leader, at that point, you take a look. You look at that. You pick him up. No. You assess. As a leader, you assess. And you ask yourself one question. Does anybody have this guy? The guy that's supposed to have him doesn't have him. What is this? Instantaneous. I can't let this guy be by himself.
He did his role. Like, don't they always say you take your gap down the hero?
I can't let this guy be by himself. Common sense needs to take over. Common sense didn't take over for him, unfortunately. He felt like his Lilliputian, diminutive little ass needed to be jumping for some crazy reason.
He was the jumper. He
for some
crazy
reason.
He was the jumper. He ignored
the fact that there was a free guy.
So you're blaming him because he didn't do Tyree Stevenson's job.
I'm blaming him because he didn't use common sense.
Yurko said the other day that sometimes when the ball becomes the most important thing, you have to adjust.
Yes.
What would coaches say? Don't coaches always say, you fill your gap? Don't worry. If everyone does their job, like Shay just said, do your job, everything takes care of itself. Don't play hero ball. Don't follow the ball. You plug your own gap.
Yes, I got the B gap. There's a QB center exchange problem. The ball's on the ground. Do I stay and do my job, or do I go for the ball?
The ball's on the ground.
Do I stay and do my job, or do I go for the football? What's the issue?
That's the problem.
Literally, they go for the ball.
But you're going to say the
point is you got to use common sense in the football player.
No, it's not.
No, I get what he's saying about it. I like to have fun with you guys and mess with you guys a lot, but not in a situation where common sense ultimately at the end of the day has to take place. Just because you have contained doesn't mean because the guy runs outside that you've got to be outside of that guy. You can keep contained and use the other guy and put him in the hole and still be in a situation where you have done your job and your responsibility. I'm telling you, common sense has to take hold sometime. If he sees there's nobody on the guy and they've got a fray going on 5 yards in front of them, don't leave this guy. Common sense would tell you not to leave that guy. What I'm telling you is you didn't use common sense. You have 5 guys surrounding the football. Bunch of guys in the frame in front of you. This guy's going to be free. I should stick with this guy just in case.
But he was jumping, doing his job. How was he to know?
I've already heard you.
I'm not saying that
over and over again.
Because how was he to know which way the ball was going to carry him? He was just simply doing his job.
He guarded the man.
He was the jumper in front of the pile. Yeah, I'm not arguing. I'm asking.
He's guarding the man, is what I'm telling you.
I think you're going to say he should have recognized that nobody behind us and nobody else. That's a problem.
This guy's free and nobody's on him.
Everyone's got a role to do in this. What would the coach say? What would the coach, special teams coach say?
Thank you for sticking with him. Thank you for realizing that he was there.
Who has jumping responsibility then?
Stevenson, obviously, not obviously, but he decided he wanted to be a jumper.
Like a knucklehead.
Stevenson, like a knucklehead, who did the wrong thing on the whole play and was freelancing and doing his own thing. You want to criticize Tyree Stevenson until the cows come home? Nobody's going to stop you. Criticize him until the cows come home. Okay? My point is Byron, as a veteran player, needed to realize the guy he was next to was free. And there was somebody behind it. I'm going to abandon it. I'm abandoning everything, and I know that this guy might be the most dangerous guy, and I've got to stick with him. Now, if the ball gets batted up and it's still in front of me, I got time to go ahead and make a tackle in front of me if one of their players comes down with the play, because it's happening at the 3-yard line.
I get what Yurko's saying on this one.
I understand what he's saying. I don't think it's right, though. That's all I'm saying.
100% right.
You may think so, but again,
100%.
Like if you had Kevin Byard in this room, I don't think he or their special teams coach would agree with you.
Well, I put it on the film and I talked through it with them, and I'd be 100% correct. And the special teams coach would be bowing to me at the end of it, saying, "Thank you for the knowledge that you just presented to me."
The ball is in the air, and Kevin Byard's supposed to assume Tyree Stevenson's doing his job.
And no, he's not trying to identify he's not doing his job.
That's my point.
That's not what he's doing. He's not going, he doesn't have a pad of paper on his head. Well, no, this guy is.
Which feels like what you're
No, he's saying
my theoretical responsibilities and take care of the guy that is now free.
But my question, I have to rewatch it.
Because if he watched it, I've watched it 100 times.
I know, I've watched it 100 times too, but I'm just like...
get him up in House Hall then if he's right.
When the ball goes in the air and his responsibility is the ball, I imagine as Kevin Byard, I'm looking at nothing but the football. I can kind of get how you don't recognize that anybody got behind you.
Who's he with?
But his job wasn't to be with anybody.
Right.
His
He
job
did
was
his
to
job.
assume that Tyree Stevenson was with somebody.
All right, guys. I just did my job. It's not a defense in this situation.
That was the ultimate. That was the ultimate moral from Belichick.
Yeah, I did my job.
That's why you want to go do your job. Your job on this is to do this.
My job's to be in the B gap. The ball's on the ground. Why did you
What was it on the ground here?
No, it was in the air.
Right.
Secondly,
And he was jumping.
when you're sitting there
When
and
you
you're
practice.
jostling with people, when you're looking with people, you can notice what's happening even though the ball's in the air. You know you've got a guy next to you that's free. Period. You don't abandon a free guy. And just because Tyreek Stevenson wasn't wrong doesn't make you correct in going into jump.
Because he was wrong, you're saying.
Yeah.
That is true.
I said Tyreek Stevenson was
no,
wrong.
no, you
just said just because he was not wrong. You just said.
I know.
Just correcting.
Just because he's wrong doesn't mean that you did everything right. That's what you're thinking. That's if you're Kevin Byard.
But there is also still, if Tyree Stevenson doesn't scream over like he's a superhero to swat the ball out of
There's
the air.
1,000 things that went wrong.
I want Kevin Cap to show fired. I want Cap backfired this stuff.
Oh, Byard's gonna, no, ask Byard. I'll sit there. I'll come on early, and I'll debate Byard and ask him why he abandoned that guy.
They're on
And if he
there.
said because I went to do my job, I'd say, how'd that work?
They're on to Arizona. That'll be the answer.
They're on Arizona.
Cap will ask Byard, he'll say we're on to Arizona.
That line is that line does not sound good. Who? The offensive line.
Yeah.
No, it did not sound
They have.
It's
Jones
not
is
good.
Jones is out. It looks like Bagachi is out.
What's his name?
I just said that. The kid from Instead. Yeah, the kid from Instead. Let's go with that one.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, Tamagotchi. He's out. Probably he's out. He was overwhelmed in that first game anyway. I'm not surprised. No training camp, nothing. They threw him into the fire. You throw him deep into the pool and you got to swim. It was difficult for him. He'll be a much better player moving forward. So you give him a little bit of a break. But he's going to be thin. You almost got Kevin Jenkins killed on that Kramer play.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to come out. He got on and snap late. He got over. He almost got Kevin Jenkins killed. He almost got quarterback Caleb Williams killed.
Does Jenkins come out of the game more than any other player you've ever seen?
Yeah, unreal. Unreal. That's bad. Like if he's going to start a game, you just have to expect he's not going to finish. But hey, Ryan Bates is active.
But Kevin now was something like he was limited, like and he wasn't able to come back. You asking the question, I think, unfortunately, all we need to know. Right? I mean, that you even pose a question like that, we're all like, yeah, Jesus, that's come out like that. And it's why they wanted to wait before they talked about a contract extension. If anything from the first 8 weeks of the season told you that there's that any interest whatsoever in talking about a contract extension with them, unless it's like a discount, at a low end. He's trying to pay that.
Yeah, even then I'm getting. Ryan Pollard, like, you want to give up some money? Well, that's what they believe is a more important position. I think left tackle's really important. I think they need to make a real investment in left tackle. So that's a real thing that they've got to do. Left guard, not so much. My guards are failed tackles that I move inside. Tevin wasn't a failed tackle. I think they just moved him inside. Maybe it wasn't. No, he started at tackle.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the right tackle.
Move him inside, and that's what you become. You cycle through those guys. You don't usually invest in those guys. You cycle through those.
Unless you're Steve Hutchinson or Alan Faneca.
I mean, but they were all drafted in the first round, and they were studs when they came into play.
Right.
Randall McDaniel was the first round.
It just feels like the hardest unit to build on the team, though. Because, ask the Bengals if they're happy with paying Orlando Brown a lot of money to be there on their tackle. They're not.
I don't
the
think
Bears
so.
with Nate Davis.
Some teams can figure it out,
But it's usually with guys you draft and extend, like what the Lions are doing.
100%. Or what the Eagles have done largely.
Yeah,
what the Lions have done, that's true. What the Colts have done.
The guys that hit free
Most of those
agency
guys
and get
get drafted,
paid,
yeah.
if they were good enough, they'd stay on the team that drafted them.
No, Washington, I'll give them credit. 2 free agent additions to that line.
Tyler Biadasz, there's no reason he wasn't a Bear.
That's what I've been saying. Like, why didn't the Bears go after Biadasz? You knew he was good. Well, you knew it. Alan Brady's maybe a little bit more of a surprise that he's played as well as he has, but I don't know. Now, that's probably more rare. I get what you're saying. The best way to do it is to do what the Lions have done, to do what the Eagles have done, to do what the Colts have done. Most of those guys were drafted and developed by those teams.
All right, so here you go. Landon Dickerson from Philadelphia, $21 million a year. Lindstrom from the Falcons, $20.5 million a year. Quentin Nelson, $20 million a year. Hunt from the Panthers, $20 million a year. Quinn Miners.
Now, these
Miners.
those guys are all drafted by those teams.
$20 million. Zach Martin,
Yeah.
So that's what you're looking at with the tackle. Is he a $17 million a year guy? Evan Jenkins, yes, no,
absolutely not.
I'm saying you
Don't
don't
sign up for 3 years, $21 million.
No, you're not getting $7 million a year. He's go to market. He'll end up getting about $15 million a year.
Evan Jenkins,
Evan Jenkins, that's $15 million.
Yeah.
No matter what you thought about Darnell Mooney, what did Darnell Mooney do? That's true. Darnell Mooney, he went out and did what he did. He's a good. Would you rather pay him millions of dollars and have your first round pick and not have Keenan Allen there?
That's a good question.
It's a serious question.
I would think about that.
Yeah, of course you would think about it. You like Darnell Mooney.
I love Darnell Mooney. I think what the biggest mystery was what the hell happened last year between him and Fields.
Yeah. Part of the problem with that is you probably knew you were going to pay DJ, so maybe that had something to do with it, and you knew, Keenan Allen was basically a one and done. You basically swapped those out. That's a good point. And you lost a 4th round pick.
One's right, one's not right. I'm just throwing the scenario out there.
Yeah.
I'm not having any judgment on it. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah.
So I'm not sitting here with the anvil coming down on anybody saying, blah, blah, blah. Also, 16. So the top 13 guards are at $16 million or more in the league. Just so we have an idea of where it's at.
The problem is he's not that.
I got you. But what is he then? You're saying $7 million a year. That's not going to
I wouldn't even give him Nate Davis money. I wouldn't give him 10 a year.
I'd be a little.
I wouldn't pay him that.
I'd be a little worried. I got to be honest.
Okay.
I'd be a little worried.
I'm asking the question because he's going to leave, and now you're going to have to fill 2 spots.
The crazy thing is there are a lot of times where he plays well.
Yeah. But you're going to have to fill 2 spots anyway because you can't count on him to be there for an entire season. He's going to get hurt. And if you invest
at the end of the year,
into that with that player,
at the end of the year, we're going to find out
more money dead.
exactly what the snaps are for every position on that offense. And I have a feeling Darnell Wright's going to be in the, right now the center. Who's the kid in center? The lefty, southpaw. That right now the center and the right tackle are trending to be the guys that are going to be in the coach.
Oh, yeah.
98%.
He'll probably have to be replaced at the end of the year, too.
I think certainly.
It's about time they get a young center who can grow with Caleb.
Prime spot for their.
Days Olin Cruz and who's the other kid they had? Casey Wegman, yeah.
Prime spot for that number 33 overall pick. That's there on the board.
Well, maybe. Yeah, that's how the Eagles did it. They got Jason Kelce. How the Lions did it with Frank Reich.
I'm not kidding. And that's right now. Let's hope it stays this way. Bears get the first pick of the 2nd round.
Center. Whoever the best center.
Well, you might even be able to trade out of that and acquire more picks.
What's coming up on the show?
I'm a pick guy. I like more picks.
So we're going to discuss what was said today. Matt Eberflus loves the questions that were asked.
He appreciates
them.
Everything.
Yeah.
But did not answer many. We'll play you what he said. I thought Caleb was very good, accountable as well. And we will talk to Jeff Saturday is joining the show, and Patrick Finley from up at Hallis Hall. Finley's very good, and I'm sure he's going to have some interesting things to say. We will also debate. I don't know if there's much to debate. You guys handled that. But we will discuss and laugh at the guy the 2 guys.
The hero.
Who basically assaulted Mookie Betts.
Couple of knuckleheads.
I couldn't believe I walked in right when that happened, and I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Domestic terrorism is what I called it.
It's terrible.
Domestic terrorism.
Baseball terrorism for sure.
No, domestic. I mean, it's local, right? Local within the United States.
You know, Carmen complimented us regarding rapid reaction. Carmen, I want to do a Bears rapid reaction question with you at 3:30.
All right.
And to get the callers involved, it involves Matt Eberflus.
Great.
And I don't know if your coach is going to rip me like you ripped Dan Patrick for asking this question. Yeah.
Whatever you guys want to call it. These are hard bets for lucky. Hey,
Connie's Frozen Pizza. It's the official frozen pizza of the Waddle and Sylvie Show, and it is awesome. It's not what out-of-towners think it is. It's true Chicago-style pizza. It's thin, it's crispy, and yes, I even cut it into squares at home, and thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy that true slice of the city anytime, anywhere, no matter where you are, even across the country. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are classic thin pies made with that same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you want on hand when you're craving pizza. Get to know the true Chicago style with my favorite, Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, enjoyed everywhere. They're available at your local grocer's freezer. When you're company, when your dog is too.
And it's hard to know what's fake or true.
Just raise the glass with a friend or two.
47 in. Eisenhower outbounds 42 to Manheim, an hour drive to the Jane Addams and 50 inbound. Davidson out just about 50 to 355 inbound, 27. The Dan Ryan is close to 40 out and 20 minutes in. Next report, 308. News Radio 1059 WBBM.
AccuWeather forecast for today. Windy and warm, sunshine, clouds, a high near 80, going down to 65 tonight with rain. 79 degrees right now at 2:59.
Featuring the news that matters and breaking news at any time. This is Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 1059 WBBM.
Coming up in the next half hour on News Radio WBBM, Mayor Johnson's new school board president says he will not apologize for social media posts that several city council members call anti-Semitic. The search is on for what sparked a fire in the far north suburbs at a house where crews found the bodies of 3 people. The word garbage taking on new importance in the race for president. The latest coming up next from CBS News. Business, the markets are lower. The Dow is down 69 points, NASDAQ down 99, and the S&P 500 down 19. AccuWeather says for the rest of the afternoon, windy and warm, sunshine, clouds, a high today near 80, going down to a rainy 65 tonight. 79 degrees right now. CBS News covers the world next. It's 3 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. 6 days until Election Day, and the campaigning today continues to bring up questions about garbage. Peter King reports.
Donald Trump has addressed President Biden's remarks that seem to refer to Trump supporters as garbage. It happened during a campaign rally in Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
225 million people. She's essentially, and he's calling her garbage.
He compares that comment with something that Hillary Clinton said about Trump supporters in 2016.
That makes deplorables look like baby stuff, right?
The president now says he was referring to the comedian's comments about Puerto Rico during the Trump rally in New York, not Trump supporters. Peter King, CBS News.
Jim Walls in Charlotte, North Carolina.
They want to divide. They want to denigrate our citizens, our fellow citizens in Puerto Rico and across the board. But look, is that a surprise to anybody? We knew exactly where Donald Trump was.
Kamala Harris travels next to Pennsylvania. A judge there sided with Trump's campaign and extended the deadline today for voters to request a mail-in ballot. Voters in Butler County complained of long lines. They will have until Friday to apply for, receive, or return a mail-in ballot. Gary Corrado reports on the crowds turning out.
Lines of voters stretched far outside polling centers in Pennsylvania.
I wanted to make sure my vote is in. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
The turnout so massive that many waited for hours, especially right here at City Hall. In Bucks County, a similar scene of long lines.
I like this better than dropping it in the mail or putting it in the drop box.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said today not only are North Korean troops in Russia, but they may be getting harder to distinguish.
Some of these DPRK troops have already moved closer to Ukraine. And we're seeing them outfitted with Russian uniforms and provided with Russian equipment.
They called that a dangerous development. Ahead of the election, the Biden administration is sending envoys to the Middle East to push again for an end to the violence.
Two White House officials, Kirk and Hochstein, are traveling to Israel to engage on issues including a diplomatic resolution in
FDA's drug shortage list. The drugs have been on the list for more than 2 years, with different doses being listed in shortage at various times. This could eventually affect whether compounding pharmacies can supply the drugs. On Wall Street, the Dow is off 91 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
3:03, Wednesday, the 30th day of October. October flew by. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Lisa Fielding. We have cloudy skies, 79 degrees. South winds now gusting at 29 miles an hour. Windy and warm. Sunshine and clouds today with a high near 80. Record high is 85, set in 1950. We'll keep you posted on that record-setting number. Periods of rain tonight. We'll have the AccuWeather 5-day forecast coming up at 3:15. But first, our top story. Mayor Johnson's newly picked Board of Education president has been in that post for less than a week, and he's already facing criticism from some city council members about what they call anti-Semitic posts on his social media accounts. WBBM's Jim Goodis is here at the Anchor Desk with this developing controversy. Jim.
Lisa, 26 city council members, a majority, have signed a letter calling for an apology from Reverend Mitchell Johnson and his resignation from the Board of Education. It follows a report by Jewish Insider that Johnson has a long history of posting anti-Semitic comments online, as well as pro-Hamas statements since last year's October 7th attacks. Among the aldermen who signed the letter was Deborah Silverstein of the 50th Ward, who is the only Jewish member of the city council.
I'm just going to read you one of the things he wrote. My Jewish colleagues appear drunk with the Israeli power and will live to see their payment.
Jewish Insider claims after it published its report, Reverend Johnson posted on Facebook that he would not apologize and does not regret his posts. Mayor Johnson is expected to speak with reporters soon at City Hall, and we're awaiting his response, if any, to the accusations. Live at the Anchor Desk, Jim Goodis, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Jim, thank you. The new controversy over the mayor's pick for school board president is developing as the mayor looks for city council approval for his administration's plan for how to spend more than $17 billion worth of Chicagoans' tax dollars. The mayor's proposed budget includes a $300 million property tax increase, which goes back on a promise that then candidate Johnson made during last year's campaign. In his budget address to aldermen this morning, Mayor Johnson blamed what he described as decades of financial mismanagement with a decision to raise property taxes and said he was determined not to leave a legacy of unpaid bills for future generations.
When I ran for office, I promised to tell people the truth and that I would not support programs that we did not have funds for. And I'm going to stick to that promise.
And city council members already weighing in on the mayor's budget and that property tax increase.
14 alderpersons have signed a letter that says in part they reject the property tax increase, and so do their residents. And even Mayoral Ally and Housing Committee Chair Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez says he and others think there are alternatives to higher property taxes.
I think that the property tax increase is something that we're going to discuss with City Council. I cannot support a property tax increase, but I will support a recommendation of the Civic Federation to suspend the payments on the supplemental pension payment.
But Budget Committee Chair Alderman Jason Irvin feels suspending the additional pension payments in lieu of hiking taxes would be fiscally irresponsible.
Everybody wants to get to heaven, and nobody wants to die. But again, we have to be responsible fiscally in that manner and provide the services and the aspirations of the citizens of our city.
Budget hearings begin next week at City Hall. Craig Dellamore, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
News today, a fire that killed at least 3 people in far north suburban Zion remains under investigation. CBS News Chicago reporter Hugo Dewey says crews were called to the home on Enoch Avenue just before midnight last night.
Crews got here, they were immediately told that several people were trapped inside the house. So in addition to putting out the fire, they got to work trying to rescue those people inside. 3 people died in the fire.
The 3 people dead were occupants of the home. A 4th person sent to the hospital is a neighbor. New at 3, FBI agents sounded the alarm about a masked crew behind a string of violent robberies in the Chicago suburbs and 2 other states.
The FBI Chicago office says there have been a total of 4 incidents between July of 2023 and last month. In each case, 4 suspects armed with assault rifles and hammers and donning what authorities describe as extremely distinctive Halloween masks workers hostage while stealing thousands of dollars worth of jewelry from display cases. Initial robbery was reported last July at a Bridgeview shop, then another Bridgeview location this January. Between August and September, investigators say the suspects carried out similar robberies in Dearborn, Michigan, and Winchester, Missouri. Authorities say at least 2 of the incidents were captured on video. A $50,000 reward now being offered for
reality. It's like I can't grasp it. Like, I kept asking, is what my column's about to tomorrow? Like, what's worse? And I said, they said the good play to begin with. Or to continue to say that it's a good play after it even fails. Because it goes against all logic to even install that. And then when he had to earlier in the game play guard, and then now you're putting him in at running back in that crucial moment when he's never carried a ball, when Roshan has been doing a decent job at that, when you already had the hiccups in the Indy game that cost you at the goal line, when you could not score on 3rd and 4th down, when you dialed up a play where you asked DeAndre Carter to try and block a defensive lineman. And then on the 4th, what was the play they called to DeAndre Swift where he lost 12 yards? That was a sprint out. What do they call? What's that term called?
Speed option.
Speed option.
Yeah.
The speed option.
Yeah.
Ran the speed option.
Yep.
All that. Remember, in the Indy game, I believe it was 1st and goal from the 4, and they did not score.
That is correct. They lost yardage, right?
Yeah, and they lost by 1 score in that game.
And they did.
And so it cost you the Indy game. It cost you big time here. Who knows if you score in that first time, what happens on that next possession for the Commanders? You may force a turnover. You may get the ball again. You may score again. Who knows? Like, it's a different game. I know you ended up scoring a second time, but who knows what the butterfly effect is there.
You're correct. Now, I see what you're saying. You don't know that you're going to get the ball back right away. But no, none of it makes sense. And to your point, and this whole after-action report, at least they did it after the Indy game. They finally devised something at the goal line that was working.
Yeah. Preach.
What are you doing? It doesn't make sense. It'll never make sense. It wouldn't have made much sense had it been successful.
No, that's what I'm saying, and I've always said this, Carmen. People always call in and they say, guys, it worked. You would have said he was a genius if it would have worked. I've always said this. There are shooters in basketball who take terrible shots that go in. It doesn't mean it was a good shot. There are lots of shooters who take many good shots that don't go in. And you continue to tell that shooter, keep shooting. Those open shots, those good shots, they're good shots. You keep shooting. Even though it didn't go in, those are good shots. You don't take the bad shots. Just because that went in, it doesn't make it a good shot. The process is always the key in my book. That process doesn't make any sense. Even if it would have worked. Not only was it a bad process to install it, now they have the result, the confirmation that it was terrible. And they still don't go back on it. And today he said, I'm accountable, but for what? And this is where I'm at with Eberflus. And I've always said, I don't believe he can take you to where you want to go. What bothers me about Eberflus, and I would tell you this about a quarterback too, and I have about Justin. It's one thing to say 3 days after the fact with the after-action report. Okay, now I see it. Now I'm accountable. When you put it up on the big screen after you talk about it with 10 coaches. What we want in a quarterback is we want someone in the moment, because it's really hard, to process the defense and to make the right decision in real time. How important is that to have the quarterback back there and in real time dissect the defense and make the right decision? That's what's happening when the crap is flying for the head coach. I need a head coach in real time to make the right decision. He constantly doesn't make the right decision in real time. He showed you this week, even with a 24-hour rule, he can't make the right decision with 24 hours to reflect. He needs the after-action report to finally come to his senses. So to me, that doesn't mean anything. Because what I need to have happen with Matt Eberflus to be a good head coach is for him to make the right call in real time. Whether he's botching the instant replay, whether he's botching a timeout in a game they won, what was that, in the Rams game that was still an awful timeout?
That's
what was the punt timeout?
No, the field goal, the extra point timeout. Wasn't that one when they realized they had to go for 2? Didn't they have to burn?
That cost them.
Called the timeout instead of taking a delay of game, right?
Right. There was the game. There was the game.
That was the Rams game.
The Rams game they won, and again, remember, they win this game so it doesn't stand out. But Matt Eberflus, in a close game, is burning a timeout when all they needed to do was take a delay game. In real time, the things don't for him.
It was the best. And remember,
that is the time, right, Jeff?
Then I don't know, but the Bears had the ball like the 41-yard line.
Yes.
And so instead of taking a delay,
It was the Rams
41. Yes, the plus 41 is like the same in the NFL. And so instead of taking the delay of game and potentially giving Corey Taylor room to cut them to 46, Eberflus called timeout with 1 second remaining because they were killing clock instead of forcing the Rams to decline the penalty. And then probably the worst thing was he defended it in the press conference.
That's what I mean. And the Pistons don't fire fast enough for this guy. So when it's okay to critique Justin Fields, if you're Ryan Paul, and you're saying, Justin, we love you. You're a good teammate, you're a nice guy, you're athletic, but you don't process quick enough for us in the pocket. Why can't Ryan Paul see this with his head coach? He doesn't manage his timeouts. He doesn't manage his instant replay. He doesn't understand even after the game when he makes the mistake. He is not the right guy to take this building team, improving team forward. And it's only going to hurt them again. This is 4 times. How many more times do you need it? Do you need a 5th time? Do you need a 6th time? How many? Do you need it to burn you in a playoff game? How many more times does Ryan Poles need to watch him get burned by his head coach not being able to understand all this?
4 times in a year. That's not bad luck. That's not, boy, the Bears were victimized by some bad luck. That's everything you're talking about.
This is deja vu.
It's poor decision making.
Do you remember in 2018 when we kept talking about Cody Parkey not being a good... And
It's the exact same
we
thing.
kept all season long, we kept saying he's not good enough, it's going to cost you in a big moment. And sure enough, what happened?
Well, I'll never forget the tweets I got because I was pitching in the Lions game. They won, I forget the score, look up the score, they won 40-something to 20-something if my recall is correct. Cody Parkey, if I recall this, doinked 4 field goals in that game. I think he hit 4 uprights in that game.
4 times and then went over the line.
He hit the post 4 times. That's nearly impossible to do. And this is on the heels of him having issues. And I said, guys, we have a problem here. We have to get rid of this kicker. There is something going on with this guy. All I got back was,
Oh, you made him, Sylvie.
he made him.
You're never happy the Bears won, Sylvie.
34-22.
You're never happy the Bears won, Sylvie.
Oh, yeah? We happy after the Eagles game?
I would not.
Like, again, what's the goal here? The goal is to be happy winning in the postseason. We have not had that. They haven't won a damn postseason game since the 2010 season. That's when I'll be happy. I want to win.
Yeah, it's like I said, 4 times. You know, 1 time, maybe something happens and say, boy, that was, okay, got a little unlucky. Bad bounce for you, some weird fumble luck, who knows, whatever. 4 times in a year? That ain't bad luck.
And then refresh again. What was the timeout in the 2-point conversion thing?
Well, they didn't know they had to go for 2. And they had to burn a timeout. I mean, we were like sort of joking, but not really on Sunday when they took the lead. We're like, hey, do you think he knows to go for 2 here because they're going 13-12? We're like, do you think he knows? And honestly, I think it was mostly like a joke, but the back of my head was like, is it though? I hope somebody's told him, hey, we need to go for 2 if we score. Aware of it? Like, we shouldn't have to worry about that. So that's all you need to go up a field goal.
I'm not a hater. I want a coach who, in real time, can process this and make the right call. And I know there was things across the league by the coaches too, but not like this at this rate.
How many other teams can you point to that have lost the types of games they've lost in the last year? How many? 4? With the win probability of what did you have Hembo run for? 95%.
It's
The
1 in a
win
million.
probability was above 95%.
It's a million to one.
A million to one shot, folks.
It's a million to one shot when you run the math just in basic form, which is of the percentile that they had a chance to win, like 98.1, 98.3, 92, and like 94, whatever it was.
You lose, or no, it was even more than that.
Whatever it was.
96 something, I think it was something, yeah. 96.6 maybe at a time. That you lose all 4 of those.
We should start calling Eberflus Fusili Eberflus because it's a million to one shot.
Million to one shot, Jared.
Million to one shot, Doc. Million to one.
That's all. Like again, if we conducted and made every coach a free agent, every coach in the NFL, head coaches, coaches who are currently offensive coordinators, who are hot commodities like Ben Johnson, and free agents like Belichick, like what's his name with the Titans, Vrabel, and we made a coaching draft. Everyone gets to pick a coach, head coaching for your team. Where does Eberflus go? Bottom 30. I would say, yeah. I don't even know if he goes in the top 30.
You have to think about that. There's still some, Antonio Pierce is the one who would
Free agents are available, and so are the up-and-coming coordinators.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, the defensive coordinator of Kansas City you could have. Again, for Spags. Would you rather have Spags? We have. Or would you rather have Spags as your head coach or Eberflus?
That's a good question.
Come on now.
Well, but we've seen Spags as a coach. This is the job for Spags.
Brian Dable even won a playoff game with Danny Dimes,
which is amazing. I would take Dable. I know Dable is getting it in the teeth. They made a bad decision paying Jones, but he's still better. I mean,
this is what I'm saying. So why do you want the 25th best coach? You don't want the 25th best quarterback. Why aren't people still defending that? Why would you want the 25th best coach in the league when he can't make the right choices? When he's the defensive coordinator and you can't close out double-digit leads. You led by 12 against Detroit. You led by 21 against Denver. You led by 10 against Cleveland. And you led by 3 with 6 seconds left against Washington. He's the defensive. Everyone said, Silva, he's a good defensive coordinator, though. Well, is he? He couldn't close out a 21-point lead against Denver, 12 against Detroit with 3:50 left, 10 against Cleveland and Joe Flacco.
Hey, I will not stand here late. That guy's playing quarterback last year and a half. I don't know what the hell's happening. Yeah, it's crazy. It is. I don't know that he's even I'm kind of with you. I don't know that he's a great defensive coordinator. He's probably a good one. I think he's a good defensive coordinator.
I'll give him that.
Yeah. That's what he is. He'd be on almost any coach's staff probably in a position like that, and most teams would probably be happy with it unless you have Spags or, maybe a handful of other guys around the league. That's it's starting to feel like that's what he is. We've seen this before, not just him. Spagnola's a perfect example. There are plenty of other guys that are good examples of it throughout the history of the league. Plenty. It's okay. This just might be what he's best at. Coordinating a defense, being a very high-ranking assistant coach, an assistant head coach, a defensive coordinator. Might not be the best head coach. Might not be top 20. Might not be top 25. I agree with you. I doubt if we made that list, we'd find that he's in the... I'm just trying to do it in my head right now. There are still
We should come up with it. We should list all the names. We could do that later.
I think like Antonio Pierce, certainly. Canales probably way too
Callahan. I think you would take your chance with Canales just because of what he did with Tampa's offense
I
last
think
year.
you're probably right.
Would you take Ben Johnson right now over Matty Burke? We've never seen him do anything in that close.
You take Bobby Sloan. You fooled on Bobby Sloan.
I don't know how I ever was on Bobby Sloan. I might take a guy like Liam Cohen and Tampa now.
Mm-hmm.
He's done it at the college and pro level.
Wasn't he an offensive coordinator candidate too this past year?
Was Liam Cohen? I don't know if the Bears interviewed him.
I thought they did. Was he with Kentucky before?
Yeah, Kentucky.
I thought he was.
Maybe you're right then.
Yeah, I thought he was another candidate that they gave to Waldron.
You might be right.
Roy is calling. Who wanted to talk about our cross-doctor discussion. What's up, Roy? Hello, Roy. I can hear you driving, Roy.
Yeah, how are you?
There you go. What are you doing?
I didn't know you were talking to me. I'm sorry.
You're right, Roy, right?
Yes, I'm Roy, but I was paying attention to something else. I'm sorry. I wanted to bring it up to your phone. Did he go somewhere? If you watch that play again, he's talking about Byard or the safety. God should have realized 85 was back and wide open. The whole group started off in the end zone, all piled in together with a big mass of humanity. The ball was thrown short. The whole group went to the 2, 3, 4, 5 yard line, wherever it was, and that 85 just stood still. That's the only reason he was behind everybody. So how was he supposed to know that from that big group of humanity that went moving forward with him in the middle of it, that guy was left open in the back and Stevenson wasn't doing his job?
Got to have a sixth sense for it, I guess, Roy. That's what he's saying.
And yeah, and I respect him. He's obviously, a great ball player in Chicago type, and what we all had hoped to be, a grinder and everything else, but he's wrong on this one. There's no way that he could have realized that guy just stood still.
That's fair,
That's
Roy.
all I'm disagreeing. Yeah.
Right, Roy. You can disagree. All good.
312-332-3776. We do a full line, so we'll do a rapid reaction later. Okay. Because I don't want to throw out a topic and everyone wants to run it. Go on this. I mean, I'll give you the top. You want my topic when we come back, though, for what I want to do?
I'd love it.
I'd like to hear what your answer would be.
All right.
I'll give you the little tease here.
Right.
If you had to put a bet down today, give me a name of who's going to be the Bears head coach to start 2025. You have to give me one name.
One name.
Not who you want.
Who I think.
You have to bet on who is going to be the Bears head coach in 2025, knowing how Ryan Poles thinks. 312-332-3776. Holy cow. I want no part of your ass, even with a feather. It's Waddle and Sylvie.
This is Waddle and Sylvie on ESPN Chicago. Chicago's home for sports.
This is the new home of the Chicago Bears. ESPN Chicago. Bears and Cardinals. Game time is 3:05. But we have so much more. On-game tailgate. Black and Madonna starts at 11. Tom Waddle joins the Bears Network pregame show with Deion Sanders, Mark Silverman at 1. Jeff Chiliak and Tom Thayer bring you the hometown play-by-play of Bears and Cardinals at 3:05. And get the post-game pressures and analysis you need with Peggy Jasinski and Yurko. Followed by more of your calls and analysis with Jason McKee, Jeff Miller, and Rap the Designer. It's post-game. It's Bears Football Day. It's Bears on the new home of the Bears, ESPN Chicago.
I love my new outdoor lights on my home. You know me, I'm not getting up on a ladder, I'm not a kindling light. I want no part of any extra work like that guy did. Watching, I went to outdoor lighting perspective to do the work for me, and not just any work. These are permanent lights on my home that I can program. And there's the light look. Not only do they illustrate and make my home look more sexy at night, they provide Halloween. You're going to provide great fall lighting. Different programs that I could run. I let my kids choose nightly what different theme they want on the home. It's great. It makes our home look awesome. And it's just fun for the entire family. And we never have to take the lights up or down. They're there all the time. And in the daytime, you don't notice they're there. So it doesn't affect the look of your home. It only makes it look greater at night. Here's how you get it done like I got it done. Go to permanentlightingchicago.com. The customer service, second to none. My guy Rick's going to set you up. Permanentlightingchicago.com. Rick is a Chicago a sports fan like us, you listen to the radio station, you need to visit this website, permanentlightingchicago.com, for outdoor lighting perspectives.
Want to buy a vehicle in 60 minutes or less? Purchase your next vehicle in 60 minutes or less at Advantage Chevrolet Bolingbrook, or your first car payment is on them. And every new Chevy comes with the Advantage Plus program. Together, let's drive. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Illinois State University offers more than 150 majors, from accounting to zoology, and they're adding new areas of study all the time. Apply today to one of their new programs in engineering, sports communication, or data science, or check out all their offerings at illinoisstate.edu/majors.
This is ESPN Chicago. Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Candy, and Michelle Small at 5 a.m. Chapman, Jay Hood at 7. Greeny with Mike Greenberg at 10. Carmen and Yurko, now noon to 3. Waddle and Silver, now 2:30 to 6:30. Fleck and Abdallah at 6:30. This is Chicago's home for sports on AM, FM, and always streaming on the ESPN Chicago app.
We gather together in communities across the nation to remember and honor, to celebrate and support, to light the night. Join us as we lift our lanterns high in order to move toward a world free of blood cancer. Join us as we light the night for a loved one. Join us. We are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Our mission is to cure leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's disease, and myeloma. Our aim is to improve the quality of life of patients and their families. Join us. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Join your community and help bring light to the darkness of cancer. Join us as we light the night. Find your local event at lightthenight.org. That's lightthenight.org.
On November 3rd, Shirley Ryan Ability Lab in Skydeck Chicago will host Skyrise Chicago, one of the world's tallest indoor stair climbs at Willis Tower. More than 2,000 participants will climb up to Skydeck Chicago's breathtaking observation deck on the 103rd floor. Shirley Ryan Ability Lab is a global leader in physical medicine and rehabilitation for adults and children with the most severe complex conditions, from traumatic brain and spinal cord injury to stroke and amputation. As a nonprofit, the hospital's work is supported by fundraising events such as Skyrise. Register or donate today at skyrisechicago.org.
FX is the English teacher. Every single one of these essays is so bad.
And F? What is this?
With grades like this, I'm gonna have to eat the corner, sir.
From executive producers of What We Do in the Shadows. Who's running the school? Is it us or is it them? Them. Go sit next to Tiffany.
She told me it was offensive to learn Mandarin. You're not Japanese.
FX's English teacher is now streaming on Hulu. All new Mondays on FX.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com. Joe's Live in Rosemont, the place to be for live music in Chicagoland. Check out these upcoming shows. Wyatt Florence on November 1st and Connor Smith on November 2nd. Get tickets at joesliverosemont.com.
Listen to us now, live on the ESPN Chicago app. Listen to the show in HD at 100.3 HD2 FM. Listen now on ESPN 1000. This is Waddle and Sylvie, ESPN Chicago. Chicago's home for sports.
In Florida for his daughter Angela's wedding. I mean, you talk about a man who has had some milestones in his life here with his family in the last, 18 months or so. Georgia got married about a year and a half ago. Then he became a grandfather a couple months ago, and now his second oldest, Angela, is getting married.
Florida, I was talking to him at the J.D. Vaughn event last week about it. He was so excited. He was beaming.
Yeah.
Very excited.
He gives a great speech, too. I asked him yesterday, I go, are you going to give a speech again? Because, of course, I have to.
He's said, he told me he was thinking about it. He's been working on it. He's been writing some things down. And in his office by himself, he's crying. And he knows he's going to ball this weekend. I said, I mean, you know, I have a daughter. I can't even imagine. Please. I said, there's no way. I'm going to cry like a baby. I'll tell you right now, if I speak at her wedding someday, I'll cry like a baby. Guaranteed.
Yeah, hopefully this is what, in 30 years from now?
I have it.
Well, I'll give it like at least 25.
Maybe like 20. She's
20, yeah.
Give it a year. We're going to get like 20 years. Take your time. Take your time, sweetie. We got Sewell and Michigan here. See, this is what I'm worried about. I'm talking about my daughter. I mean, it's Sewell and Michigan.
That is the look, that's for sure, yeah.
No, okay, thanks, brother. Well, you offer us a signal. Thank you. Waddle's doing, but thank you. Thank you, my friend.
The Sue Ellen Mischke reference is,
She walked in.
yeah, she's got her coat on, and underneath she's just wearing a bra.
See why I'm nervous? Melvin's got a daughter. He knows.
Is that the style now?
I don't know. She's just missing her shirt. When these girls come down for a bra, she got a pink
No,
one.
it's not a bra. It's actually, it looks like that, but no, it's a style now, yeah.
Well, I got news for you. You can call it whatever you want.
It's not a real bra, but it's made to look like a bra?
That's
Yes.
a brassiere.
I'm just,
I
didn't see her, but yes,
How old are you? You know about the cup size? You got the A, B, C, D. The D's the biggest.
It's not, though.
No, that's true.
That's what always said poorly with me.
That's true.
Say,
But that's what I'm worried about when I'm talking about my daughter and growing up. I tell her, just stay 10.
Yeah.
It's a good age.
That's a great age.
It's a great age. She still adores me.
Yeah.
And it's a great age. It's going to end soon, Mellor. I know it. Mellor's got a few years on me. So
yeah, mine's 14.
Yeah, it's old.
She still adores me, so.
Still pretty good?
Yeah.
All right. I got maybe a few more years I can squeeze out of it.
I think she always will. I think. I know your relationship.
They stand you and then they come back.
Yeah, no, I think you got the relationship where she's always going to be able
I hope
to.
so. But oh my gosh, I can't even imagine a ball at her wedding. Please.
All right, so how do you answer my question? If you had to bet today,
If I had to bet, you make it tough when you phrase it that way.
and this isn't who you are.
I know, that's why it's hard. If I had to bet on who the Bears coach is to start 2025, if I had to make a bet on it with my hard-earned money, I'm betting Matty.
Yeah, like if you're the house, isn't he minus 150 right now or something?
I would think he's got to be the favorite. Yeah. As of right here, right now, they're a 4-3 football team. Like, as bad as it's been, as critical as we've been, I shouldn't say as bad as it's been, but it is critical, and rightfully so, as we've been with some of the missteps the last year and a half. I think the favorite's got to be Matty.
What if you had to? If you were the house, how would you put the Eberflus versus the field bet? Like odds-wise.
Well, the field is always going to be...
Because that's everybody else.
It's everybody. Like, who I would...
But he's also the incumbent.
I would still have him probably the favorite.
Oh, you would have him the favorite?
I think so.
Eberflus.
Yes,
I would too, but it'd be close to. So here's the question: like, do you guys think it's going to be are the Bears winning 9 games this year?
I hope, because I have over 8.
I know you.
I think it's 8 or 9.
But that's the thing. 9 feels like he's pretty well back. 8 is where I think if Ryan pulls, does he put his finger on the scale here and says, "My guy"?
But again, like I know what people love to do, and I know what you're doing there, Mellor, where you're using wins. But if the coach isn't making those wins better, and if he's taking away wins, and if the players are winning those games, and he's not helping around the margins, like a quarterback can win 9, but if he's not a top 10 quarterback, you're always looking to move on from him, especially if you have to pay him. And Eberflus is going to be coming up for a new contract soon. So why not play the same logic with the coach?
Oh, I agree with the way you're assessing it, but I'm trying to answer your question in the sense that the way Ryan Poles has showed us,
yes, I know.
when he makes a selection on somebody with Bayless Jones, he likes to hang with them and give them every chance to succeed. That's why I feel like if they get 9 wins, he's going to make every reason. Now, if it's 8, that's where I think it gets interesting.
Oh, even with 8, guys, I think he's staying. And man, I'm telling you guys, I committed the cardinal sin on Sunday. I chalked it up. I chalked it up as a win, you guys. I'm like, yeah. I think I even at one point in the madness of our group text chain, when they took the lead, and I'm like, I can't believe this is going to happen twice in a year already. But I'm like, I'll take it for the over.
Why would you do that?
I made the
I know. Dave did that too. He was talking about, I'm not apologizing for a win.
I'm like, well, but I mean, I just said it amongst us as if like, it's great for my over 8.5. I mean, I counted that one, you guys. I counted it as 5, and I'm like, this is great. They're going to get to 9. And if they fall on 8 and I lose that bet,
I didn't think that was going to happen, but I didn't count it as a win once they scored. There was still too much time.
Well, I'm talking about when there were like 2 seconds.
Oh.
When there were 2 seconds left, I think that's when I fired it off. It's like whatever we were discussing in the chain, and all right, they gave him that big chunk, and we were like, that probably wasn't the best. And I'm like, well, you know, in my mind, it was like, okay, they won this game. Somehow they won. There's 2 seconds left. They're at their own 35. I'm like, they won. And boy, oh boy,
how did you react at your house?
Oh, I was.
Did you throw something?
No,
did you yell?
I couldn't believe it.
Did you yell?
I didn't yell.
I yelled no and slumped in my chair, and then I sat quietly.
I think I let out a big 4-letter F word, and all I thought about, because I'm a greedy pig, was
you're over 100.
Yes. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. I was like, I think I did one of those, and then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, God, if that comes back to haunt them at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, you know, well, in some way, shape, or form. Dre DeKalb, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Dre?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I was just referring back to the crosstalk when you were having a Yurko. And my point was, I don't know who he was saying it was bias, but I was just saying that if it was bias responsibility, I correlated to something like basketball. Like, I know you got your man and you have your responsibilities, but on a breakaway, you know, on a fast break, if your man is close to the sideline and then the ball handler is coming straight to the middle to go up for a layup, don't you go to the ball to stop ball? You know, I know your assignment is to guard the man, but you got to stop ball in the moment. You have to have some type of awareness. So somebody dropped the ball on that because nobody showed any awareness about number 85 being behind everybody else in the end zone.
The only thing I would say, Dre, is you're right, but in basketball, you're looking at it. You're looking at it. That's in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure. Dre's point is right.
In a fast break, there's one guy back. Like, there were still 6 guys. How many guys were in that pile?
That's a big scrum of bodies.
So you're expecting other guys to be in their spot. Should he be aware that Tyreek Stevenson was not doing his job?
I don't know. And, like, he's thinking about his job and where he's supposed to be on the field. Like, now, are you supposed to just sense there's a guy behind you? You know, maybe some guys would have a feel for that. Like, wait a minute, we got, you know, deep as the deepest. Somebody screwed up. I'm going to protect us and get as deep as the deepest. I think that's what Yurko's point is. I don't know, it's a tough ask. Like the basketball analogy, yeah, you're right, but you're looking at that. Yeah, okay, I better go protect the rim just in case. And if it gets kicked out to the 3 for a corner 3, so be it. But I went and I took away what was the easiest thing in front of an oncoming offensive player. Like, you're looking at it in basketball. It's a little different.
We need to call Dave Toth and ask him what's right or what's wrong.
Well, you know, Matt Bowen put out a great diagram, like seconds after it happened. There's a Hail Mary defense that's pretty universal. You have 3 guys lined up on the goal line who all have a designated responsibility. The spiker, the jumper, and the savior. And the Bears were missing the savior on that final play. Whose responsibility? Yeah. Well, yeah. The only thing we think it could have been Elijah Hicks.
Hicks was is the savior, the back guy.
Yes.
So Hicks did. They won Hicks.
That's what we're thinking.
We listened to Kevin in the break.
Kevin Byard,
his explanation. Yeah. He wasn't completely clear that it was Elijah Hicks, but it sounded like the way he was explaining it that Byard's responsibility was to be the jumper on the play. And in that case, if that's the way Byard explained it, Elijah Hicks, his responsibility was to be the savior, the guy who was the deepest with the deepest.
And Tyreek Stevenson's supposed to be in front of him to box him out.
Yes.
Correct. And then once it's tipped, you're allowed to tackle him. Of course. Yes. That's the thing. Like, once the ball's in the air, you tackle him.
No PI when the ball's tipped.
No.
That's the whole point.
Porter in Lake Zurich here on ESPN 1000. What's up, Porter?
Hey, what's going on? I just had to say, I have no idea who the coach is going to be next year, but I had a question. I mean, do you guys think that Poles thinks Eberflus is still the guy, even after all of this? I'd say it should have been Harbaugh last year, but we had to bring in Kevin Warren. He doesn't get along with Harbaugh, so we missed out on that opportunity. And then the other question I had is, do you think we're ever going to get to the point where we have to start thinking about, is Caleb going to leave this city? I mean,
oh, geez. We're not starting that already. Not even. Too early. You're going to give me agita, Porter. I can't handle it. I can't. But because of all this going on, I want to play you to what Caleb said today, because you compare the way he speaks about accountability versus the way the head coach speaks about accountability, and it's night and day. And this kid's played 7 games in the NFL. He's pretty mature beyond his years. Yeah, we've always known. Yeah, he is. Shy Guy and Carrie, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Shy Guy?
Hey, Sylvie, you're spot on. Everything. You know, everybody's thinking what you're saying. And Caleb is, you watch Hard Knocks, and you think Caleb should be behind the desk and Eberflus should be gone.
I don't want him behind the desk. I want him being my quarterback and continuing to get better. Yeah.
The mentality.
Yeah.
Caleb is right there, and Poles is great. They're 2 millimeters away from making this all happen. You got to make the decision. It all filters down. And then you got Stevenson, who's playing emotional, and he goes up and tips the ball, where he should be playing his deadlock and pick up the guy behind in the end zone. When he was talking to the crowd, he should have picked up on that instead of going up for the ball. He should have recognized that guy right in the end and ready. I mean, it was too much of an easy play. I mean, everything went wrong.
Everything. Thanks, Shy Guy. 312-332-3776. So we'll continue to take your calls. We're going to do a Waddle's World early today because we've got Patrick Finley from the Sun-Times at 4:30. Jeff Saturday is one of the rare guys, too, who defended him and Yurko both didn't think the spy was that big of a deal. And also, Saturday is someone who doesn't think the 13 yards they gained was a big deal at all. He's one of the few because, when I hear the Patriots guys talk about it, they said no cheap 5. Found no Devin McCourty was saying. Yeah, Devin McCourty on Sunday Night Football, yeah. 312-332-3776. That's our phone number. Carmen's in for Waddle. Don't forget to join us tonight. We're a Cork and Carry, the original one, in Beverly for Whiskey U tonight starting at 7.
Waddle and Sylvie on Chicago's Home for Sport, ESPN Chicago.
Can't miss radio. Hear directly from the head coach of the Bears, Matt Eberflus, as he breaks down the Bears game with Cap and J Hood, Monday morning at 8:20. Exclusive on the new home of the Bears, ESPN Chicago and the ESPN Chicago app.
Guys, I love my brand new Toyota. I'm driving the Sequoia these days, and now is the perfect time to take a drive in a brand new Toyota like I did. Toyota has 22 vehicles with available 4-wheel drive and all-wheel drive to grip every twist and every turn, whether it's rain, sleet, snow, leaves, mud, gravel, or sharp turns. Can tackle the trails in the nimble RAV4. It's what I used to drive, and it was awesome. Can drive the steady all-hybrid Camry with all-wheel drive available on every trim, or turn up the traction in the beefed-up Tundra with available 4-wheel drive. Check out the full lineup at Toyota.com, or do what I did and visit your local Chicagoland Toyota dealer today. They're going to roll off the red carpet for you. Toyota, let's go places.